Hi everyone, welcome back to Colouring with Kate. Thank you for joining me today. So in this video I am hoping to show you my process for colouring this Halloween themed colouring page. It's a lovely book, a new book by Karen E. Myers called The Mystical Lands of Klynnadra in Search of Autumn Secrets. So it's just right for the season. So I decided to do a distress crayon background. So this is my pearlescent set of crayons from Ranger. I think they're marketed as 2 Halloween sets. I think they've got some other sets out now as well this year, but I haven't purchased them. I've just got these. So I'm using the green pearlescent crayon and I think the yellow and then the orange. So I wanted it to be a little bit shimmery, so that's why I chose these distress crayons, these pearlescent ones, instead of the standard gelato crayons I may have used from King Art or any other brand. So I just scribbled the crayon on my Caran d'Ache palette and then used my blender brush to take some off the palette and then just applied it onto the page really. And I thought the blend from green to yellow to orange would work quite well and would be quite sort of seamless. So that's basically what I decided for the sky. I rarely have a plan all the way through for my pages. I just usually, most of the time, I will just make it up as I go along and think that this might go well or that might go well. I do think about where I'm going to apply metallic paints because I like to use metallic paints pretty much on all my pages. Very rarely do I not use it. So yeah, you can just see me blending the crayons, and they blended really well. So I highly recommend these blender brushes. I got mine from Amazon UK, but if you type in blender or makeup brushes, then they should come up. They are really nice. They work really well with the gelato type crayons. So I did get some. It's just inevitable that you'll get some on the other parts of your picture, but I used an eraser to sort of take off majority of it from the other objects that it got onto, and it worked okay. I used my Tombow eraser and it worked all right. So yeah, I think it looks quite nice. I mean, I could have gone for a dark sky, but I wanted something a little bit bright because in my head I had thought that I wanted the house to be sort of greys and browns, and same with the tree. I wanted it to be grey and brown, so it was going to be quite dull looking. So I thought a grey tree would look nice against quite a bright background. So after I've done this bit, my next, hope you can see the shimmer a little bit, it's not that easy to tell on camera. I decided to then start on the grass really, the next largest part of the picture. And that's what I usually do with my pictures. I do the background first and then I colour the next largest section or one of the largest sections, and there's quite a lot of grass. So what I did was I used two different blends of greens, which I will link those, I will link the pencils that I used and the colours I used for the main parts of the picture. So for the grass, I used my Arteza Expert pencils, and I used one blend which was the Matcha green, moss green, olive green, and then I also used Prismas with it. So this was a second green blend. I used moss green, in the Prismas: Kelp Green, Artichoke and Green Ochre. And the reason why I use 2 different blends is to just mix it up a little bit and give it a bit more variation, because rarely do you see grass which has the same shade over the entire area that it covers. So I just thought it would give it a little bit more variety and sort of a little bit more interest, a little more difference. So with the pencil, I was just laying down the lightest colours, both with my Matcha green and then the Prisma Moss green, and I worked out where the 2 lightest greens would be, and then I just put the next colour on top, shaded the next blend of green on top until the colour built up. Basically, I like to do that with many of my pictures where I use 2 different blends of the same colours, and they don't always have to be from the same brand as well, as in this case. So yeah, that's basically what I did. So I'm just going to right, there's nothing else really for me to say here for what's going on, because I'm only just putting the other shades on top just to deepen the colours. But yeah, what are you guys colouring, or what plans have you got for colouring in October? Are you keen to colour Halloween themed pages, or are you already over Halloween before even October the 31st? So yeah, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so I'm just going to insert some music here, I think, just until we get to the next bit. Okay, so in this part now, I am just going to show you how I colour a couple of mushrooms. Nothing special here at all, honestly. It's just a few yellowy colours and orangey colours, and deep orange, almost red colours for the shading, but go in with my lightest colour, of course. I will sort of write in the description the colours I use, but again, I use my Arteza expert pencils, which I think work really well on Amazon printed paper. So I used the sunflower yellow, I used Tuscan sun, pear green, because quite a lot of pumpkins have a little bit of green on the outside, so I used pear green, moss green as well, and then pumpkin orange, and then rust orange, burnt ochre. Yeah, actually, hang on. Let me see. Moss green, pumpkin orange, and rust. Yes. So those orange and then burnt ochre. Yeah, that's right. So those are the colours I used. For the large pumpkin that you can see, I just built up the colours from the lightest colours to the darkest, and then try to follow the shape of the pumpkin, to make it look rounded. And when I got to the near the end of, you know, when it's nearly done, when it's nearly complete and I've put most of my pencil on it, I tried to use pencil strokes, you know, where I was sort of using lines on the edges just to give it again that rounded appearance. The smaller pumpkin, I used some slightly different colours for that. I used cream, turmeric yellow and pumpkin orange, just 3 colours really. At the end of the completed page, well, almost at the end of the completed page, I decided to go over the black lines of the pumpkin with a glitter gel pen, just because I thought it would look nice. I just wanted to, so that's what I did. Yeah, so I like the fact that I've got this bright pop of orange of the pumpkins on the page, which is really nice against the rest of the elements on the page. So yeah, I think I'm just using the the rust orange here. Yeah, I can just see it on the screen. Okay, so again, I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of music until it comes to a part where I'll do the voiceover again. So in this section, I decided to use some metallic paint. So I used the paints from Rebecca. So this was the True Silver paint, which is probably one of the best silvers I've come across in watercolour paints. So it's a True Silver metallic paint from the Art Spirits, which you can find Rebecca's shop on Etsy. And yeah, I used that for the moon, and I used a fine, I think it was a Winsor & Newton brush, size 0, I think. And yeah, it's just such a reflective silver colour, really nice thick coat of watercolour paint. So I did think about doing like a cloud over the moon, but then I decided against that because I didn't think it would look, I wasn't sure. I was going to use the gelato crayon, but I couldn't find the right colour to go over it, and I thought I might ruin the background, so I decided against it. So yeah, that was the moon. And then I've decided to do the path here in another distress crayon, which came in the Halloween pack, which was Crooked Broomstick. So again, I'm just using my blender brush to apply, and you can see the shimmer actually on there. the little bit of pearlescent shimmer. I just used a smaller blender brush for the path. I thought it was a sort of a dullish colour, so I thought it would go well with the path. I mean, I did get quite a lot on the gate, but the gate I knew what I was going to do in metallic anyway. So yeah, so there's nothing else really I'll to update you with on the picture. So yeah, I've just got a lot of colouring books as well. I have purchased some books from Amazon Japan. Not a lot, just a couple of books in a postcard book, and then a few from Book Depository, and a couple from Amazon, I think, and one from Etsy. So I am going to do a book haul video this month for October. I haven't really bought any supplies. In fact, I haven't bought any supplies at all. I did consider thinking about getting some pencils, but I'm really not sure which brand, and I think I've got enough pencils as it is, so I don't really need any sets. But yeah, I'm going to do a book haul. I also thought I'd do an updated PDF colouring pages, my full completed PDF colouring pages, but I'm not sure. I think I did do one. I can't remember when. I think it was quite a few months back. So as you probably heard, that was the doorbell. Just Amazon, nothing interesting really. It's something that my husband ordered for the house. So yeah, nothing interesting like colouring supplies or accessories. So yeah, what am I doing now? So yeah, after completing the path and the moon, I decided to use some chalk. So this is basically, let me just look at my notes, because yeah, that's it. The hill that the house is standing on, I used my decorative chalks, and I used just, I mean, it's not, you can't see it too easily until I build the colours up, but I just used some chalks, and I used some grey browny sort of colours, and just applied it with, you can see here, just applied it with a little small cotton wool ball. Again, they're not bright colours. It was a little bit pearlescent again, so it was a slightly glittery, but not, very subtle. And yeah, I just built that up on the hill, and then I decided to, you will see in the next clip, that I decided to go over it with my Gansai Tambi opal colour watercolour paints. So I often get asked, what do you use? What's the shiny stuff that you use on top? The shiny stuff is usually a iridescent watercolour paint. There are iridescent acrylic paints as well, that I sometimes use, but I generally use my iridescent watercolour paints. So they're the Gansai Tambi opal colours, and also you can get a similar effect with the Scrim German watercolours. I think they're called ghost colours. Scrim as in SKRIM. And also some of the Klynnadra pearl colour paints, like pearl silver, green pearl, blue pearl. They give you a similar sort of iridescent look. So it's more like a translucent look. It's not very visible. It's not very visible if you just put it on white paper, but if you put it over coloured parts, you can sort of still see a little bit of the colour underneath, and then you've got this really nice iridescent sort of shine as well. But you see me adding that in the next bit. So yeah, that was the chalk. I could have left it like that, but no, I decided to use the iridescent, and I decided to use opal copper. Yeah, or where was I? I think before the doorbell I was talking about doing a book haul, I think. Yeah, I haven't been buying that much really, because there's not really that much to buy, but also, you know, it's I've got most of the things that I need. I've got more colouring books than I'll ever need in 100 lifetimes, really. I've got so many. So I'm very fortunate with that. Got so many books that I want to colour in, you know, the new books that I've got, and yeah, there's just too many books to colour in and not enough time really. So I'm looking forward to getting round to colouring during the October half term, although I have got some additional work that I need to do during the half term, so I will still be quite busy, but at least I'll have a week away from work, so I should be able to find a little bit of time to colour as well. So I hope you can see from the screen that you can still see a little bit of the colouring underneath the copper pearl, and that it is quite iridescent, so it's translucent, I would describe it as, rather than fully transparent or opaque. So yeah, it looks like a little copper mountain, doesn't it, that the house is on. Yeah, I also was considering doing a flip of the Johanna Basford new book. I did receive it on the day of release, but when I got home I was just so tired. I had a bad migraine and I just thought I could film, but I just couldn't. I thought, no, I'll leave it. I know there'll be a lot of flip throughs of it, which there is, but I just thought that I still wanted to do a flip through just because I wanted to talk about the book, and if anyone was interested to hear my views, they could watch it, and if they weren't, they wouldn't. So I thought I could still do a flip of it and share my thoughts, but you know, you should hopefully have seen that video already, because I think I might have released it prior to this video. So yeah, now I'm on the actual tree. So yeah, I've decided to use, again, my Artezas, but I really like this blend. It's an elephant grey, pewter grey, charcoal grey and black for the tree that I used. And again, I used the lightest colours and then built it up with the darker shades step by step, really. That's basically what I did. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how the page eventually turns out. So yeah, that's the tree with the shading and the little bits of, I don't know what it is, but the little bits of things hanging down on the trees. I decided to use metallic paint for them. So I think what I'll do is put some music on again and then come back on with a voiceover where I need to. Okay, so now I decide to work on the house. So again, I'm going to use similar colours to what I used for the tree. So, you know, the greys that I used for the tree, the elephant grey, the pewter grey, the charcoal grey and the black. And I additionally use burnt umber, cocoa brown and dark chocolate brown, which were the colours that, similar colours that I used for the little hill that I did previous to starting this house, which was just what the tree is standing on the hill. I used similar brown shades on that. So yeah, again, just starting with the lightest colours and then building up the colours and sort of putting in the shading as you normally would, starting from the lightest to the darkest. So what else is new? I was talking about the Johanna Basford book, wasn't I? I find it so difficult to pick a page. I mean, I've done one page in the Rita Berman new book, but I haven't actually started another one so far, because I was meant to start another one during October, but I haven't. I've just been doing my Halloween pages really, so I'm hoping to do one in there. I'm hoping to do one in the new Lulu Mayo book as well as Johanna Basford's book, which I'm finding it really difficult to choose a page. The other thing I was going to say is it's very strange, because I know I get a lot of requests for doing colour alongs and things like that, but when I actually do them, they don't get that many views, so that sort of confuses me. Like for this video, I don't think I'll get that many views, even though it is a page where I'm trying to explain my process and what, you know, how I go about it. But I mean, I shouldn't really think of it like that, though. I should just, should just enjoy doing the process. But I've got to say, it does take a lot of time and effort doing colour alongs, doing the voiceover, doing the editing. It takes such a long time, and with being so busy as well, they do eat up a lot of time. So yeah, use the greys that I used for the trees. I'm using it for the roof of the house as well. And also, just to mention, because I didn't show this bit on camera, but I did use a black Faber-Castell Pitt pen for going over the lines. So where, you know, the hill part where I went over with some opal watercolour, I went over the black lines that you can see, because they get a little bit faded. So I'm using some metallic pencils as well right now for the central part of the house, just to add a little bit of contrast. I used the Arteza metallic pencils, because I think we get about 5 metallic pencils in that section. And then I use, for the windows, I use fluorescent yellow, lime green and shamrock green, again the Arteza expert pencils. And then I decide to work on the gravestones. Again, I used various Prisma greys. So I didn't actually write down the colours that I used for the gravestones, because I just used light, medium and dark from the Prisma cool greys, warm greys and French greys. And then on top of the gravestones, I decided to use the Deco Art Glamour Dust acrylic paint, ice crystal on top, just to give it a little bit of a sparkling shimmer, because many gravestones are made of marble and it's got that little bit of a fine sort of glittery effect. So I thought that the the Glamour Dust ice crystal on top of the gravestones would look nice. Okay, so in this section I'm just showing you where I use the various greys in the Prisma set, because I think the Prismas have got a really good set of greys. It's got cool greys, warm greys, French greys. So yeah, I just used a blend of the cool greys, a blend of the French greys, and a blend of the warm greys for the different gravestones. And then, like I said, once I had done that, I put some of the Deco Art Glamour Dust ice crystal on top, just to give it a little bit of a shimmer and a shine, because I wanted the look of a little bit of the look of marble, basically. So yeah, so I'm going to just show you that. And then the blackbirds that you can see there sat there, and there's an owl, I think, in the picture as well, and a bat. I used a black glazed pen to go over the birds because I wanted them to stand out a little more. And then I used a metallic Coliro paint on the gates. I think it's blue silver. I think it's called blue silver in the Coliro paint that I used. I also used some metallic Black Forest Coliro paint on parts of the tree, and then on the mushrooms as well. I used some of the Magical Creatures set Coliro paints on the mushrooms. And then, like I said, finally I did use the Uniball Sparkling Gold gel pen on the pumpkins, so you will see that. So yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy doing this page, and I didn't feel too restricted with the Amazon printed paper, because sometimes, I mean, the thing that I would have liked to use would have been watercolour pencils, but of course I know that the paper can't really handle that. But I still used some watercolour, and I still used some other mediums on Amazon printed paper, and they worked fairly well. So yeah, I did enjoy doing this page, and yeah, I think it looks quite nice as a final result. As usual, you can see how I used various mediums and sort of to blend pencil blends with the grass I used, and some different mediums, the distressed crayons and the chalk, metallic paints, pencil, gel pen, etc. So I hope it's been useful if you've managed to watch it all. Yeah, so here I'm just applying the ice crystal on top of the gravestones, and because I'm only using a little bit, the paper can actually handle it quite well, and it doesn't, it doesn't buckle. My page has done really well in coping with the different mediums that I've used. They're not that water based anyway, so I've only used a little bit of metallic watercolours in sections. So yeah, it handled it quite well. So I'm just going to edit in some music again, and then I will come back before the end to show you my completed page. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, so here you see me adding a little bit more of the Coliro paints to the mushrooms. The Magical Creature set is absolutely gorgeous. If there's a set of the Coliro paints, apart from the gold and silver set, that I recommend you buying, it would be the Magical Creature set, because they're very, they've got two-tone colours in them, which, you know, and the dragon one, the dragon Coliro set paint is one of my favourites, but they are fairy mermaid, they're just lovely. So as you can see, when I add the metallic paints, it does sort of fade out the black lines. So I do use a pit pen, Faber-Castell pit black pen, to go around the different things. So I'm now using my green pearl watercolour paint, and I just go over the Marble Hill Manor sign, because I wanted it to look iridescent, so I let that dry completely before I go over the actual lettering over it, you know, so using my pit black pen again. So here you can see I'm just adding some glaze pen. In fact, I forgot to write that down, but yes, I do use some glaze pen as well for the window. I'm just writing that down now, because glaze gel pens for the windows. So I think I used yellow, orange, I think, and maybe green, not sure, something like that. So yeah, I do show you a little bit here where I'm using the black fine liner just to put the black lines in. And then I use a Uniball silver gel pen. I'm so bad at writing things down, for going round the moon, because I didn't want it to have a black line. And then here is where I'm using my black glaze pen. I love the, you know, the almost the final stages of your colouring page. That's my favourite time to colour, as in my favourite piece. My favourite part of the whole colouring is when you add the finishing touches at the end, you know, where you add your little embellishments and stuff, and sort of add your finishing pieces just to make it stand out a little bit more. That's my favourite part of colouring a page. I think I like that the best, and then my second favourite part of colouring a page is starting a page as well. But yeah, so once I'd done all of that and I'd gone round my, you can see I'm using I think it's gosh, I can't even see what it is. Oh, I know what it is. It's my Uniball sparkling gold gel pen. It's the gold one, and yeah, it's lovely. I just thought I'd use that as gel pen. And then I just used my, again you can see there, black picked pen just to go over the lettering so that it stands out, because of course the metallic paint does dull it a bit. And then I remembered that I hadn't done the border, so I got some Posca glitter pen. I've got an orange and a green, and the border bit, I didn't want it to remain white, so then I just went over it with orange and green, because I thought the orange and green goes well together with the background. I didn't want to introduce any other colours, you know, like blue or purple. I thought I'd just use the background colours, orange and green, because I think that would look nice with the background. And basically that's it. I did that for the border, and that's my completed page. So I hope you found this useful. I know it is a little bit boring, I guess, but you know, I hope you can take something away from it anyway. But yeah, that's my page in the mystical lands of Klynnadra. I've been wanting to do this haunted house page, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with the results. So thank you so much for watching, and especially if you got to the end of the video as well. And until next time, guys, take care. Happy colouring. Bye.